everybody, it is Thursday, April 24th, 2025, and this is Off the Ledge. It's a daily check-in where we make sure that we're staying spiritually centered and aligned. I want to point you to a channel called Christopher Titus, Titus TV, Christopher Titus TV. The video that I watched this morning is about the numbers that they have tracked about the election and how it was rigged, which we've known all along. That's why I was selling these mugs, right? That's why I was selling the mugs, because it's true. I wouldn't have made that mugs if that wasn't true. They're available pre-order only right now on my website, psychicandedion.com. Anyway, interesting data, and if you send a donation, they're working on a lawsuit. So it's Christopher Titus TV, and I'll post it on my post page. So, let's get into Ernest Holmes, and then we'll listen to Kathy Bale's astrology forecast for today, and I'll do a little mini reading. Pray for Ukraine today, especially because Putin will just not let up, and he's I'm sure he's emboldened by the plants from the Kremlin and the United States government. I'm sure Putin's feeling very emboldened, so he's bombing and bombing away. Prayer works. Let's keep it going. And today, in Ernest Holmes' book of spiritual wisdom, we have this: rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice, from the book of Philippians. A little divine wisdom there. We perceive that the universe is a thing of beauty, of love. We believe that the impulsion of the universe is love, and its propulsion is law, and one balances the other, love and law. It is inconceivable that it could be otherwise. One is personal, the other is impersonal. It seems to me that we are dealing with something that starts with pure intelligence. When the movement of this intelligence, which we call thought or contemplation, blends its specialization of law through a particular phase or mode of thought, it creates in a certain sense the law of its own being out of the law of all being. This law, which we can consider to be the movement of intelligence and creativity, carries with it by the nature and constitution of its own being, and the being of self-existence upon which it relies, everything necessary to impel and propel itself into action. For us, it will be action through us. Therefore, the law set in motion produces the result. Just understand that he's talking about universal law. I believe that no matter how much we love, and we do not enough for love is, I believe that no matter how much we love, and we do not enough for love is the impulsion, that love alone, as a mere sentiment, will not do anything. For instance, to say God is all there is a statement of conviction, but it is only when we apply our conviction of the allness and the isness of the beingness of this one power that we become the instrument for that with which we have identified the mind. We have these two great realities, identification and instrumentality. All progress starts with thought, and we have no mind that belongs only to us, but we individualize a universal mind. Pretty deep stuff there. Thank you, Ernest. We are all connected to the universal mind, and the laws of the universe are unshakable. What we conceive of and believe, we create. Ernest was kind of deep. let's go to the astrology forecast for today. Just as a side note, I used to have discussion groups to go over the readings from our Sunday service for Church of Spirituality. We didn't have a very high attendance, so I dropped that, but someday I'd like to get back to it. Let's go to Kathy Beale's astrology for today. Hang on. Today is the 24th. Okay.
This is Kathy Beale of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro Insight for April 24th, 2025. Different soundtrack today. Today it's Beyonce singing All the Single Ladies. Should have put a ring on it. In fact, there will be a lot of rings put on a lot of things today. And this is another one of those times of hitting a wall, but the good thing is at least you know where the wall is. There is a storyline from late January to early April to now. How can you connect the dots? What are you stabilizing in your life? That's all for now.
That could do with what's happening on the collective too, in terms of our politics and the state of our country, the state of our union. All right, let's pull some cards. I know there's a lot going on, and I know there's a lot of things that we can look at and be discouraged about. But let's all keep in mind that we had not been participating in our democracy in the ways that were necessary. And I really believe that we can remedy anything. I do. I've always believed that everything is reparable. There's very few things that aren't reparable. And I believe that when, and I'm saying when, not if, Americans truly rise up in giant numbers, and there's another rally on May 1st too, Indivisible. Go to Indivisible, find them, Google them, see what they're up to. When the American people rise up in great numbers, and when this, as we see this administration, this illegitimate criminal administration, as we see them disassemble, we are more powerful. And as we see MAGA not knowing what the heck is going on and thinking they had something to grab onto that had a credible argument, and now they've really got nothing to hang on to that's a credible argument, we are strengthening our resistance, and our revolution is in motion. And it hasn't stopped. And from what I've seen, there are protests going on every day. And I really get that protests will be a thing of this, these next few months. So when we see the heinousness of what's happening, we really have if we have a conscience, we have no choice but to participate. And I really think we're going to move into a time where we just don't let anything like this happen again, because we'll get it that we need to pay attention and participate. Which reminds me, there's an election in my city today about a housing issue, and because I would feel guilty if I didn't go vote, I'm going to make sure I go vote. I'm going to practice what we preach, right? It does matter. These little things that they are voted on in your cities and towns, it matters that you and I get out there and realize how few people out of habit actually get out there. So really important. I've been seeing the Fool card pretty consistently. I would say that this is about the 5th or 6th time in less than 24 hours that I have seen the Fool card. And this is showing me that those who are enlightened and evolved have mastery over the Fool, and we're going beyond the illusion that Dumpy is a legitimate president. We're going beyond that. That is just not what the truth is. So the Fool is overcome by the light of the Master. And as we go beyond the illusion as a collective nation, MAGA included, the people that voted for him, as we as a nation come into this reality that a lot of us already knew, but not enough knew. That he is a 35 times convicted felon who incited a violent riot on the United States of America. When we go beyond the illusion that, we as America, that he had any right to be in the position that he is in, when we get to the place where we all are starting to know that together, we will have mastery. And we will oust the fool and his little dog too, and all the other little dogs. Be optimistic, but make your activism be the reason that feeds into your optimism. Let your optimism rule the day. And as I said before, once you hear somebody, and y'all say it all the time, once you hear somebody talking about, oh, well, the next midterms, or, the next election, maybe we'll have a Democrat. Shut it off. Where we need to be is, he needs to be removed. He's not only destroying the country, he's destroying the world. I happen to have a little box cover here that I had something in this box. And it says, of earth and ocean. And it just makes me think about yesterday, well, actually Tuesday being Earth Day. This buffoon wants to destroy the environment and has plans in motion going in the direction of destroying our national forests and destroying our national parks and taking away all safeguards that keep the air clean and the water clean. So, I hope that I've convinced everybody who's watching. I know you're already convinced, but just it helps me to have things repeated. I hope that you're inspired and motivated today to get on board and to stay on board with saving our democracy. And here's the other thing. When we get together with other people, like I was in Salem on Saturday, I went to do a little bit of demonstrating there. And I met some nice, fun people. That will happen. And this darkness is causing us to, the light workers, to bond together. And that's all the good people. All the good people are the light workers. And you are a light worker, or you wouldn't even be coming to this channel that preaches optimism. Sometimes I do preach. I love you all. Have a great day. Tonight is the guided meditation for a healed America every single Thursday. You can always do the meditations from the previous Thursday from 7 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. It's a short meeting. We talk for 15 minutes. We just chat, and then the remaining 15 minutes are a guided meditation for a healed America. These things work. And if you'd like to receive the declarations that a bunch of us are saying every day at noon, I will send them to you, provided you send me your email. AnnetteDion7@gmail.com is where you need to just send your request to receive the declarations. And we'll see you real soon. Have a great day. Namaste.